Hello everyone, my name is ZedNul, but you can call me Zed, and this is the second part to my playthrough of 5 Nights at Wario's 3. Hopefully you watched the first part, but if you didn't, then here's a rundown. We were tricked into watching a spooky mansion that is haunted by Wario and the gang, who are trying to kill us, and because of that, we need to hide in a different room each night. In the first part, we went down this route, and got the bad ending. To get the good ending, you need to find pieces to a music box. These pieces are separated all around the house. Luckily for me, I only need to find one more, since I was able to find a good bit of them on a previous playthrough. So, without further ado, let's get started. Starting with night 1, we are automatically put into the living room. We all know the drill of this night. Wario is the only active one of the gang in this night. He can come from either the left in the hallway, or behind us in which he shows up in the mirror. In order to avoid him, on the left, we need to look to our right and wait until he leaves. We will hear obvious footsteps to signify that he left. To avoid him when he's behind us, we have to pull up our camera and wait. We can hear an obvious heartbeat once this happens. Keep the camera up until this sound eventually stops. Once it does, it is safe to put the camera down. Do this for the night and we have ourselves a very easy night 1. On to night 2. Now, considering I did the kitchen for part 1, I went with the bathroom this time. Now, this night was pretty simple. It was a lot easier than the kitchen since it took me a bit to understand the strategy for that room, which I'll go over some other time. Anyway, in this night we have to look out for Yoshi and Ashley, one more than the previous night, and oh, so hard. Watch them through the cameras so it slows them down. But if they find you, open up the medicine cabinet and take some drugs.
All right, once again, this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
These drugs, however, have some effects. The paralysis pill will, well, paralyze you so you can't move left or right. Seems fairly obvious, I don't know. The short sight pills will make your vision in the room go black, but the cameras you can still see through. And the long sight is basically the reverse of that. You can see in the room, but not the camera. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I didn't really have a serious strategy for this room, but in that case, I strongly recommend the 5 Minutes at Wario's 3 wiki for how to use the pills and the best strategy for that. Also, a cool side note, you can find the winch handle for the music box in this room. It's easy to spot as it's right in the sink, so yeah. Anyway, to summarize, follow them on the camera and take some delicious drugs.
Yeah! What are you on? Looks like a frying pan and some eggs to me.
And yeah, we have ourselves another easy night. On to night 3. For this night, we're going to actually go over the 2 rooms for night 3 since I'm trying to beat every room and get the good ending for this part. So we're starting with bedroom 2. In this room, we have Wario again, but also a new contender in Donkey Kong. So why is he here, you ask? Well, remember those drugs we took the other day? Well, those things surprisingly give us consequences to our actions, and now we have to deal with them tonight. To defend yourself against Donkey Kong, if he is in your camera, we either switch to another camera or pull it down. If he's in the main room with you, then pull up your camera. Simple, since he's just a hallucination. But how could I forget about the big man himself, Wario? Well, in this room, if we see him on the camera and he's getting close to us, then all we have to do is tap on the screen and it'll cause a zapping noise. This will then deter him from moving on. Do this for the night, have a fast wrist movement for DK, have jitter click unlocked for Wario, and we are on our way to defeat the bedroom dose. Now we move on to night 3 part 2, the staircase. And this one was way easier than bedroom the second. In this, Wario and Ashley are active. In this night, for Ashley, she will make her way on the top floor. If we see her shadow at the top, we have to cover our eyes. Once she is gone, our hands will automatically lower, but we will be left blind until our eyes get used to the dark again. This then leaves us vulnerable to our next ghost, Wario. He will be on the first floor, which we can't just cover our eyes for. For him, if we see him in living room 2, we have to look at him until he eventually floats off screen. Thing is though, is that in this room, it is set up so that if Ashley is shown up and you're blind after covering your eyes, it gives you enough time to recover before you having to look at Wario. Then again, I feel this really depends on just luck of the draw for this room, I guess. So yeah, look at living room 2 and cover your eyes, and yeah, we have an easier night 3 done with. Especially easier than this godforsaken room. Now we get to move on to night 4. Like night 3, this night has 2 rooms that we could choose from. So I'll start with the easier ones of the 2, the laundry room. For this room, Mario, Weird Long Pterodactyl Luigi, and Normal Luigi are active on this night. Each ghost for this room have a different way of disposal. For Luigi, who is still just as scared of ghosts as he was in his own mansion, is more timid a guy. If we see him in the camera leading to us, we have to move left and right until he eventually goes away from the camera leading to us. For Waluigi, who is a taller and more aggressive ghost, if he is in a camera leading to our room, we have to sit still. Completely still. We stay like that until he goes away from that camera which is leading to us. As for Mario, if we see him, nothing we do will stop him. So you ask me, what shall we do? Well, for him, it's simple. We just turn on the machine in the room in order to deter him. Oh, but before we're done, just some cool info to note. The right side of the music box spawns in this room. Just thought that'd be some pretty cool info. Not like it really adds to the story or anything. But anyway, after giving yourself both hearing loss and a crick in the neck, we were able to finally move on from this room. Now on to the more interesting of the two, as I would say, which is living room 3. But before we get into that, this room has a cool Easter egg in the fact that if you click the journal on the table, it'll be an entry from Toad back at WarioWare Inc. Anyway, both Waluigi and Yoshi are active on this night. To shoo them away, and also the cool mechanic this room offers us, is a light control. The way it works is that as we're scrolling through the cameras, we can simply make a room go dark. This then means that you can practically block their path. Though it does suck when you don't do it right and they eventually find you. But let's just hope you planned it just right to where the clock on the left can save you from a nasty jump scare. Anyway, once I learned the strategy for this room, it became a lot easier. I blocked both Counterfeit Luigi and Yoshi with the light to the best of my ability. Luckily for me, Yoshi didn't actually become a problem until later in the night when he started staying in living room 2 for the longest time. Waluigi was coming and going, and I even had a run-in with him. Luckily, the clock sounded its sound and he went away. I did almost have another run-in with Waluigi, but the night ended, and I was spared his constant wah. This room, I would argue, wasn't as easy as the laundry. I would say it is even harder than hell right here. In that case, I strongly recommend the FNAF 3 wiki for this room. But I was able to beat this room, so let's move on. Now, you might think we move on to night 5 right now, but I would hold on there. Look at this map. We did all of this in part 1, then this in part 2. We still have these 2 rooms left before we can get to the cellar for night 5. So, I won't waste a lot of time. So let's get these 2 rooms done. Welcome back to night 3, where we're in the living room 2, which I'll like to call the old living room, just because, I mean, just look at it. This room, I would argue, is also probably the biggest one in the entire game. Anyway, both Wario and Substitute Luigi are active in this night. For Waluigi, to make him go away, he will eventually make his way to the dark part of the room. He works like how we spot ghosts in the kitchen. If he is in a camera that is leading to our room, we check the others around that to make sure he isn't there. If he isn't, then we shine the light on him, making him go away. However, nothing is easy in life, as you may have assumed, and once we shine Waluigi, the light stops working. Once this happens, we have to go to the laundry to charge it, which is made easier by the fact we can just charge it through our monitor. This night sounds pretty easy, right? Wrong. We also have to deal with Wario. In this room, he goes to the staircase, which if you weren't paying attention earlier, is connected to this room. You might think this is no big deal, but it's made even worse since there is no sound effect to indicate Wario has entered the room. Once he is in the room with you, carefully look to your left, but not too far, and if you see his glove, then look to the right and wait for a little bit. He works like how he did in the living room, which I guess makes handling him a bit easier. You also just kind of have to chance it when he leaves, as the sound effect for him entering and leaving is really just luck, so don't rely on it. Okay. Anyway, this night was a pain, but after a little while learning the strategy and missing out on dying from Wario when I probably should have, along with guessing if fake Luigi was in the other part of the room, I eventually was able to pull the W off of Wario's hat and got away from the incorrectly positioned L that is fake Luigi. This night, along with these rooms, I was eventually able to move on from. Welcome back to night 4. For this, we will be doing the hallway, and in this room, Mario, Luigi, and Waluigi are active again, like they were during my playthrough of the laundry room. Now, if you feel the same way I did, then this night might look intimidating. And I was expecting to die a lot in this room, but surprisingly, I was able to beat it on my first try. That's because I found out this room is actually very easy. In this night, we can't see through the cameras. First, the area we're in is in obvious disrepair, and now we have to deal with shitty Wi-Fi. Fantastic. Bad jokes aside, this doesn't affect the difficulty of the room at all. Just listen carefully to the cameras that are a straight shot to the hallway. As for enemies, let's start with Mario. He'll be on the right, and if you hear his cringy ass mixtape playing in that room, then you use the mechanism in this room to close the door to that hallway. You're safe to open it once the sound leaves that room. Next is Luigi to our left. If you hear his footsteps in the camera that is right next to our room, then we have to close that door immediately. We're safe to open the door once the sound of his footsteps have left that room. The final is to our bottom, where mock-up Luigi is staying. If we hear his moaning coming from the bottom, we close the bottom door. Same as the two other ghosts, if his bad breath can no longer be smelled and or heard, we are safe to open the door. This night is surprisingly easy, and a nice refresher from these rooms. Yeah. If you're not fast enough, do look out for Mario, as he will flash inside the room and leave quickly, and a spooky noise will play. In that case, close the door immediately to keep the creeper out of your turf. Even so, as long as you notice Mario's sound in either Cam 11, and most likely better to spot in Cam 9, and close the door, you should be good to go. Anyway, this night was surprisingly easy, and after a while of doing what I told you to, we eventually are done with this night. Now we can finally move on to our final night, night 5. And this night was the hardest one by far. We have to do two things. Move our mouse over to the shining music box, and press it. As to what happens next, well, I'll let you all see that for yourselves.
He did it. He he apologized. He apologized for them, for what they did to us. I can feel it. Their forgiveness has brought peace to both him and them. I feel relieved.
This is your last warning! Put your hands above your head now!
I am free.
And with that, we have finished the game. We have gone through all the rooms, found all the pieces to the music box, and got both endings. So, now we're done. Right? Sorry, but we're here to stay for now. Because we still have one more challenge to do.